Today I'm going to be showing you how to color marshmallow homemade fondant, and we're going to be doing a blue, teal, green splash color for a little boy's birthday cake. So let's get started. Okay, so the things that you're going to need for this project is a batch of your marshmallow homemade fondant, which I got right here. Some food coloring. You want to make sure to use gel food coloring, not water-based food coloring. I got the Wilton brand. I think this is like a 2-ounce container. It's just a couple of dollars. You can get it at Walmart, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, any cake decorating supply shop. You just do not want to use the water-based food coloring, regular food coloring, because the consistency will not turn out correctly. This is highly concentrated, so a little bit goes a long way, and it does not change the consistency of your fondant. You can also use powdered food coloring if you want. It's a little bit harder to find. It also gives some really good vibrant colors as well. You're also going to want optional rubber gloves just to help keep the staining off of your hands, although this does wash off after a few hours. And then you're going to want some Crisco or any kind of all vegetable shortening, and some cling wrap to wrap your newly colored fondant. So let's get started. So everybody say hi to my young son Dason, who is going to be helping us out in the kitchen today, who so ingeniously built me this little camera stand out of Legos for our project. Thank you so much, Dason. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Okay, so the color that I am going for is this teal color right here, because that's the color they want in the birthday cake. So gloves you can use, optional if you want. Again, I prefer to run around with green hands all day. So we are going to take our fondant. So you just want to work the fondant a little bit and get it a little bit soft and pliable. And you can work it in small sections or do it all at once. And mix them together, just depending. I usually do about half at a time. This in a nice little ball. There we go. And then what I like to do is just take a little piece of fondant, doesn't really matter what size, and just kind of roll it into a snake like that. Get your food gel. Again, make sure it is a gel or a powder, not the water-based food coloring that you're used to seeing in your kitchen or in your grandma's kitchen. And then you just take a little bit of this food gel and dip your snake in and just kind of dab it. I like to kind of work all that color into the middle just so it's not so much of a stainy mess right there on your hands at the beginning. And then work it out into a ball. If your fingers start getting a little sticky, you can just get a little bit of your vegetable shortening and rub it all over your hands really good. And then just continue to work that ball. Hence the gloves. Again, it will wash off, but you know, sometimes it takes a few days if you're working with dark colors to get all the coloring out. So as you work it along, you're going to start to see something kind of like this, like a marbled effect. And never fear, just keep working it. It takes a good 5 minutes or so to get all that color dispersed through there. I'm just rubbing a little shortening on my workspace here. If you feel that your fondant is getting too soft or too moist, you can always use powdered sugar or cornstarch instead of your shortening. And that will keep it from sticking to your hands in your workspace, your bench. And now you still got some color variations in here you need to work out, but you're starting to see more of a teal color. Okay, and so now as you can see, the color has gone all the way through your fondant, other than on my little fingers here. But you've got your color in your fondant, and you can always go darker if that's not quite the color you want. We can compare to my little swatch here. That's about the right color that I want for my project. So what you want to make sure to always do is double wrap this in cling wrap and put it in an airtight container. At least double wrap it in cling wrap for sure. And leave it to sit. Anytime you color fondant, you want to leave it to sit for at least 4 to 6 hours, just to allow that fondant to rest again and come back to its natural consistency. Because as you can tell, it's quite stretchy. Not the best consistency right now to be covering a cake, or to really be trying to cut out any kind of decorations for your cake. So let this rest. I usually let it rest overnight if I have time. If I don't have time, you can add a little bit of Tylose powder to it if you want, and let it sit for just a few minutes, or at the very least try to let it sit for 4 hours, just so that it has time to rest again, and then you will have a perfect consistency, colored, beautiful fondant ball to start working with. Okay, so now I have combined both of my little balls of fondant together. I chose to separate them in half and color them separately just for the sake of manual labor. And then what I always recommend is just to take a light coat of your Crisco or your Shortening and just kind of give it a nice roll all over your ball, and then give it a good double wrap of cling film, cling wrap. So here we've got one. Make sure you try to keep all the air out. And I wrap this around twice, so I am okay with that, because I am also going to put it into a airtight container. Let that sit for at least a few hours and knead it, get it back happy again, and you're ready to go with your project.